Good evening. This is Transformation Art, a show that's been running on Radio Gaia for over a year. And I'm your enthusiastic coach and guide in this evening, talking about feminine and masculine archetypes, a subject very dear to my heart that I'm working with for many years. And I'm very glad to share with you some of my discoveries and experience and all that I've discovered on this wonderful journey of self-knowing and transformation. Also working with many, many people and guiding them into knowing themselves and changing their lives so they will fulfill their potential and get to the deepest self and center of their being. I started to study psychology for more than 2 years ago, ever since I was in high school, and I was fascinated by the human soul and its complexity. And I've discovered Carl Gustav Jung in my studies. I've read his biography and I was so enthusiastic about it because he helped me understood myself better, especially my dream world, which has always been fascinating and quite intriguing, and also was giving me a lot to ponder, to discover, to be supported by messages from my unconscious mind and my deeper self. And through Jung, I discovered what archetypes mean, and I realized I was meeting some of them in my dreams, and some were manifesting in my life. Then I started observing how these forces manifest in others and started to see these patterns of behavior, attitudes, energy that we all have, and they work in us and they make us be so beautiful and wonderful and different one from another. And to learn gradually how we can work with that, how we can become aware of our deepest patterns, and how we can develop so we can have a more fulfilled life, and also to have more balance inside of us. So there are 4 main archetypes which were wonderfully described by Robert Moore in his book Warrior, King, Lover, and Magician, which would be the male archetypes, and they have their feminine correspondent, which is the mother, Queen Mother, and Amazon, Priestess, and Lover. And it's very, very good to understand them and to realize which one of them manifests stronger within you and give you ways of being in life, of behaving, and understanding those patterns. You know yourself better and other people that you interact with, and you are able to see through their strong points, weak points, how you can rely upon them, and what is the personal mission regarding each archetype. Let's start with the warrior because it's the one that is most enhanced by today's society, very competitive, very dynamic, and involving us in many actions and things to do and goals and deadlines. And this is the warrior world. The warrior is, of course, a fighter for very clear and specific goals, very ambitious person, a fire sign, because each archetype has a nature element that describes it very well. And this is the nature of the fire. The warrior is very passionate person, very active, cannot stand, cannot stay. It's just someone who needs action, who needs to work, who needs to do, who needs to accomplish things, to win, to just be the best in everything he or she does. So he will always strive to accomplish the most, to take his skills to the highest level, and also challenges the people around him to be like that as well, which makes it quite hard for the other types that don't have this speed, don't have this ambition, and maybe they just want to enjoy life like the lover, or be contemplative like the magician, or build systematically, thoroughly, and slowly like the king. So the warrior is the most dynamic and challenging of all. He wants fast moving environment. He likes to act quickly, decide very fast, and go on the target, and he doesn't, or she doesn't, give up until accomplishes whatever sets its mind to it. So it's not very easy to be around such a person and to keep the pace if you belong to another archetype, but it can be quite rewarding if you have a partner like that, and it can stir you off to do more and more and be more, because they have high standards and they are first of all in a competition with themselves and strive to be the best in everything they do and strive to develop their skills to the highest level that they can get to. So they really do the most they can do in order to accomplish all this. Of course, an archetype like the lover would not feel that comfortable in the partnership with a warrior, because the lover is quite relaxed and spontaneous, doesn't like to have so many goals, just likes to live life as he feels like it, in the moment, in the flow, without planning, without setting deadlines and milestones, just enjoying whatever comes as it comes. He's in the flow. He is the flow, because the element which represents the lover archetype is the water. Fluid, sparkling, just connecting people and wanting to spread love around. Love, joy, happiness, uniting people, communicative, sensual, enjoying life to the most, enjoying his body, his senses. They are, as women, the sexiest and most beautiful women who are concerned with their bodies and sexuality and how to be most attractive and how to sparkle and be on the spotlight and how to impress and how to get their attention. So it's completely different focus and way of being. Different pace, different values, and of course a different outcome. But just because we are so different and quite contradictory somehow, that of course fire and water, it's not that easy to stand each other, but on the same time we are very good for each other, because a lover can temper some of the intense fire of the warrior, a fire that sometimes people feel burned by, wounded by. And many of us may consider the warrior type to be even mean, because they say upfront what they think. They are very sharp and concise and decisive, and they want things done, and done quickly and perfectly if possible. So quite demanding in the way they are. So not at all easy to be with when a lover comes by and just wants to enjoy and feel good with others, with no goals, no standards, just joyfully and relaxed. But they can learn, warriors can learn from lovers. What does it mean to just enjoy yourself and not letting go of the competition, letting go of the fight, letting go of this mode that is, in the end, can be self-burning, or can burn relationships and bridges that they need with people in order to win their wars, especially if they want a pretty big one and they have pretty big goals. They are task-oriented, not relationship-oriented as lovers are. So they need to learn from the lovers how to pay attention to people, to people's needs, to build heartfelt connections, and be a little bit less demanding and understanding that other people have different way of being. They are like the water, like the air, the magicians, or like the earth, the king and the queen. So they need to adjust a little bit their pace to the others we work with if they want to be good leaders, because we can be excellent leaders having this force. They are a force of life. They are so powerful. Power is what they inspire, what they give, what you can sense in their bodies, who usually are well shaped and have muscles, and the bones are strong and have a strong body structure, and it comes natural. They are like this ever since they are children, and they are usually natural leaders because they are just like calling people to action, to doing stuff, to building stuff, on and on. Sometimes in this very competitive and challenging way, they need to learn from the king how to do it in a more relaxed manner and systematic, because the king is the one that builds the city, the fortress, the one that puts layers together, creates hierarchies, creates this laws, the rules, the regulations, the principles to live by. Otherwise, it would be chaos. The king is the one who brings the order in the system. The king is the one who builds slowly and thoughtfully and analyzes everything in the smallest detail, very meticulous, analytical, paying attention to everything, having a lot of patience, and doing things step by step, and checking and looking at risk management, looking at the alternatives, what could go wrong, very cautious. So a totally different way of leading people and building their lives. We'll talk a little bit about the magicians. So you can have general overview of the four archetypes, and then we will go into deeper detail. So the magician is an air sign, and it can be quite a dreamer, especially in childhood, an artist, a visionary, a philosopher, a poet. They just sense things that other people don't. They read between the lines. They anticipate and forecast and just have this sixth sense of intuition, very sharp, very deep, very thorough. And they are usually quite receptive, intuitive, inspired. They can sense things, they can envision future and future development, and they can be very good at forecasts because they have this incredible power of anticipation and sensing things even before they happen, and sensing moods and currents and the way things evolve and how people feel and think. And they are usually quiet and introverted and not very outspoken and not very obvious. They are contemplative and meditative being, quite detached from life and daily routine and daily ambition. And this is what they bring to the other side. This peacefulness and quietness and sense of detachment, and also this visionary capacity. So the other archetypes have a lot to learn and see from this archetype, but this one is usually the most outcast by society because it can appear weird, misunderstood, not taken into consideration, because can see things along many years ahead. And if you have read biographies of people like Einstein or other ones that we consider geniuses, in their childhood usually they were rejected by society. They were considered even stupid or dumb or simply weird, many of them. But they eventually let their genius be seen, and it's quite important to notice them ever since they are children, and encourage them to develop their practical skills, to be well connected to society, and to be put to use and to be encouraged in their gifts, which are unique and special. And they can give a lot if they are really valued and looked upon, because they are the most vulnerable sign, like air, very fleeting, very subtle, very hard to catch and to understand. Especially they are abstract visionaries, but what they can bring to the world enriches it very much. King and mother archetypes are usually very conservative, they want to keep tradition alive. They want to keep things as they were, to keep the rules, to keep the status quo, to have things settled and clear and safe. Safety is one of their values. They want to protect people and protect themselves and build a safety environment full of security, of well-being. But sometimes this can mean stagnation. And visionaries like magicians and activists like warriors are the ones that make society grow and develop. And magicians are the ones that also can create the most extraordinary technological things and really bring humanity to a new level of discovery and wonder and discover the universe and a lot of stuff. They are really some of the even in the beginning of their lives, they can be a lot misunderstood and excluded and rejected. They are some of those who can really give the most. They are soul guides, they are teachers, they are psychologists, they are healers or scientists. So it's important to see that in a child and encourage him, her to develop his skills. It's the easiest for the king and the mother queen archetype to integrate into society. They are the base of society. They are the ones that build society because they build the cities, they build structures, they create the rules, they create safety and order, they bring order. But warriors are the doers, are the one that make the most out of it, the most dynamic, because they don't seek safety, they seek accomplishment, are the one that really go ahead with full speed, full energy, never minding how they feel or never acknowledging that they feel tired. They just have goal after goal after goal to reach, to conquer a new world, a new challenge, a new temptation. So their world is very, very dynamic and challenging. And there are the lovers, another archetype that sometimes is misunderstood and put aside by society because they can seem trivial and egoistic somehow, because they ponder on sensuality and feeling good, and they can seem quite bohemic and artistical, but they can be great artists. They can be so inspiring. They are the muse. They are the ones who can really connect people's hearts, and they are quite magnetic and charming and uplifting. They are the ones that create the most beautiful context for emotions, for sharing our feelings and inner world and sensations and everything we have inside of us that is alive, that is full of passion and emotion. Usually, of course, we all have these 4 archetypes and they activate in our life in different phases of our life, and we need the energy of all 4 of them. But something is always the dominant archetype in our structure. We have one which is the predominant way of being, and a second one that we rely upon on many other situations in our lives. So usually 2 of them are in the light and the others 2 are in the shadow, are the ones that we have to work most with ourselves to develop. And we get to develop those by, first of all, being in touch with the ones that are different from us and learning from them. That's why it's so important to work in groups, in teams, and have them well ordered according to archetypes, to have this harmony between all these different way of being and all these energies, because we complete each other, and only together we can be whole, and we can really make a great work of art from what we do. A king will be the person that will want things to be done in a planned and well-structured manner, having clear um, rules and ways of working, and building a solid foundation, and taking risk management into consideration, and analyzing thoroughly all aspects of whatever is there to be done. So they pay a lot of attention to detail, to organizing, to planning. The warriors are the ones that bring the energy, that make things done, that don't stop till everything is accomplished. They are keen on success and accomplishment and getting things done. The lovers are the ones that connect people and create good relationships and good working place to be in, and companionship, and feel good about each other, and acknowledging qualities of each other, and expressing gratitude for how we can support each other, and inspire others to give the best, to be the best, to create these bridges between each other, to communicate well, to bring their unique selves up. And the magicians are the one that put in the vision, that can anticipate and forecast the development, the movement of the environment, or very sophisticated technical aspects of the work, of the project, the most subtle aspects of what's there to be done, and that can also have deep intuitions about what is happening there. So try to think about it and envision this and put yourself in this perspective. If we would understand each type and give it proper place into a project, and realize which are the qualities and the parts that still need to develop, it would be a lot easier for us to have good relationships and to work well together and to create the best that we can for this world and have very good collaborations with each other. There is a lot to be said on this subject. I've just kind of introduced a general overview of all these four aspects. They are they express themselves in different shapes and specific attitudes when they combine. And in another show, we will talk about this more refined aspects. But for now, conclude for the beginning, having you introduced patterns of being in this world. Um, to be in touch with me. So if you have questions about it, please um, write me. You can contact me on Skype at Eremia7. This is my Skype ID, or my email is eremia@gmail.com. And I will be glad to share with you anything you're interested in regarding this subject and many others, because, as I said, I study and practice psychology and therapy and coaching and training for many years, being trained in NLP and Gestalt and art therapy and many other beautiful techniques and way of working with the psyche and the soul and our minds and bodies. So I'm glad I could take you through this 4 patterns of behavior and thinking and acting. I hope you will be interested in learning more, and I wish you a wonderful evening and the most beautiful and inspired dreams tonight. Good evening.